Hi, my name is Georga-Ellen East, and my topic that I want to discuss today is the effects that pollution have on marine life in the ocean ecosystems. And the purpose of my speech is to inform the audience about the negative effects that humans, litter, and waste have on marine life. Um, we have known all our lives that littering is bad, but how seriously does it affect our oceans as opposed to our life on land? Marine life, such as fish, dolphins, whales, turtles, and seabirds, can all ingest or become entangled in pieces of plastic, bags, and other debris. This can cause starvation, strangulation, loss of mobility, drowning, and serious injuries if they survive. Not only is plastic pollution affecting marine health, but it is also affecting our health by contaminating the seafood that we eat with microplastics and other harmful chemicals. Did you know that it's estimated that up to 13 million metric tons of plastic end up in the ocean each year? As inhabitants of this earth, we all need to be educated on how to keep it clean and healthy for as long as possible for our future generations to come and ourselves. It's important that we see the negative effects of pollution on the oceans so that we can motivate ourselves to make daily changes in our everyday life. As you guys know from my previous speeches, I have a specific interest in marine life and I thoroughly enjoy studying the environment as well, and that's what I want to major in. I have visited many aquariums and marine sanctuaries in my free time, where I also enjoy learning about marine life. With this, I also have conducted research using credible sources that analyze the unseen effects that plastic has on marine health as well as human health through consumption of seafood. Today, I'd like to discuss the impact that plastic contaminants have on water quality, marine life, seafood quality, growth of pathogens on coral reefs, as well as what we can do in our lives to help change this. To start the speech, I would like to present a brief view of how plastic can end up in the ocean in the first place, as well as some common types of plastic trash that are most harmful that we see in the media most of the time. How does plastic end up in the ocean? Especially if you don't live near one, wind, rain, tornadoes, and floods can all move litter into the ocean, even if you don't live near one. Anything that goes down the drain can also end up the ocean through the sewage system. This is why it's important to properly recycle and not litter. There is less of a chance that it ends up in the ocean if you're not throwing trash on the ground in the first place. There are some common types of plastic debris that we see getting media coverage regarding their danger on marine life. Plastic straws are one example, but while they do affect sea life, it isn't the biggest issue that we should be focusing on, like plastic items such as plastic bags and plastic rings that hold drink cans together probably have more of an impact than straws do. Plastic bags, plastic rings that birds that bind drinks can together, plastic bottles, silverware, and cups are all popular items that can be found on beaches. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration website, plastic does not decompose. This means that the waste humans let into the ocean will be there for a while and it will harm the ecosystem for years to come, decades, centuries. It doesn't decompose. According to the website, microplastics are the result of partially broken down plastics that are rather difficult to clean up from the oceans because they are more like a sand-like texture. You can't really pick them up. Microplastics have been found in various fish and other seafood. Many humans have no idea that their waste is actually coming back into their bodies through eating fish. It is challenging to find a method of retrieval for existing microplastic in the ocean. Since they are just floating around in the water resembling sand, there is virtually no way to pick them up and properly dispose of them after they've decomposed into small pieces. According to National Geographic, small organisms feed on tiny bits of broken down plastic called microplastic and absorb the chemicals from the plastic into their tissues. Microplastics are less than 5 millimeters in diameter and have been detected in a range of marine species, including plankton and whales. When small organisms that consume microplastics are eaten by larger animals, the toxic chemicals that become part of their tissues. In this way, microplastic pollution migrates up the food chain and it eventually becomes part of the food that humans eat. According to the PEW article, Plastic Pollution Affects Sea Life, throughout the ocean. While plastics are estimated to take up to hundreds of years to fully decompose, some of them break down much quicker into tiny particles, which in turn end up in the seafood we eat. 3. Microplastics are a big issue regarding our own health. The larger pieces of plastic are killing marine life at a fast rate. Nearly half the population of sea turtles worldwide have ingested plastic, and 800 species of marine life are affected by plastic pollution, including coral reefs and other plant life. We frequently see plastic drink rings strangling turtles' necks and dolphins eating plastic bags thinking they were jellyfish. And these are just some of the scenarios where plastic will kill the marine life. Now that you've learned the definition of microplastic, how it gets in the ocean, as well as common threats to marine life, we can move on to discussing the water quality and growth of pathogens in coral reefs. Now we know how pollution affects life, but how does it affect the water quality? Trash in the ocean contaminates the water quality by adding chemicals such as nitrogen and phosphorus. These chemicals promote the growth of algae blooms, which is toxic to wildlife and harmful to humans if they were to ingest it. The algae blooms have been harmful to the fish industry and tourism as well, and plastic waste can encourage the growth of pathogens in the ocean. According to a recent study, scientists concluded that coral reefs that come into contact with plastic have an 80% chance of contracting disease, compared with a 4% likelihood for corals that do not. Now, what are pathogens? Pathogens are simply an organism that produces a disease, and they're also known as an infectious agent. These pathogens are infecting the lives of coral reefs systems, which are essential for marine ecosystems to survive. Coral reefs are important because they protect the coast from storms, erosion, and wave action. And they also provide habitats for many fish and other sea creatures that they could not live without. Corals are a source for nitrogen in the ecosystem. They also assist in carbon and nitrogen fixing. Knowing the effects of pollution is only the start, but we have to make changes in our lives to truly make a difference. Making changes such as recycling, reusing, and reducing the purchase of single-use items can all help the environment. One way to reduce ocean pollution, believe it or not, is to reduce your water consumption. Since runoff water causes plastics to flow into the ocean, if we reduce the amount of runoff water, it can reduce the flow of trash into the ocean. And avoiding things like going to Starbucks and getting a single-use plastic cup will also help eliminate some of the trash into the ocean. Personally, I bring my reusable Starbucks cup whenever I go to do my homework or sit there and get a coffee because one, you get a discount, and two, it is just an easy fix for you to cut down your plastic waste. We have discussed how trash gets in the ocean, common types of plastic contaminants, many microplastic, and in the seafood that we eat, the effects of plastic on marine life, pathogens, the importance of coral reefs, and ways we can make a change in the environment. Now that you know all these factors that go into plastic ocean pollution, you can make an effort to help. And recycling and using reusables are all ways you can help save the wildlife. And that concludes my speech.